Welcome back into another edition of Frogs in a Pod here at our Home Zone Studios. Beautiful place, right? Thanks to our friends at Spectrum for bringing this to you every week. Coming up in just a little bit, we got Jason Williams joining us, the head volleyball coach. His team's in action tonight. This is dropping Wednesday, okay? So if you're watching this on Wednesday, you need to get your butt to Schollmaier Arena because they got the purple and white scrimmage tonight. Your first chance to see what this team looks like. Dynamic group, by the way. They're taking on all comers. They got 10 opponents this year that are in the preseason top 25. Picked second in the preseason poll in the Big 12. You want to be here tonight. Jason Williams a little bit later on. Also in action right now, of course, women's soccer fully underway. Diving through the SEC. They were in Tuscaloosa for their last game. Tough loss to the Roll Tiders over there. And guess what they got this week? Georgia. Thursday night here, Garvey Rosenthal Stadium. You want to be there for that when the SEC continues as part of the schedule now for TCU. And then, of course, we all head to Dublin, do we not? That's right. We go across the pond to the Emerald Isle to take on North Carolina, the Tar Heels. That game happens from Dublin coming up on Saturday. You can hear it on 92.5, Lone Star 92.5, or on the Varsity app as well with us. You can also catch it on television. Turn down the sound, though. It's better that way, I promise you. Hey, coming up next, Jason Williams is going to join us, head volleyball coach. Let's dive right into the number 2 pick in the preseason poll in the Big 12, your TCU Horned Frogs. We'll get into that next when Frogs in a Pod continues after this. Welcome back in. It is Frogs in a Pod, and the Jason Williams is with us right now. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm doing great.
You ready to go? I mean, it's here, my man.
It is here, yeah.
And you said, you know what? Let's just bite it off from the beginning. You know, August 29. That's when things open up for you guys against Texas, and SMU comes calling, number 11. I mean, let's just go back-to-back top 11 programs, huh?
Yeah, 4 out of our first 5 are top 10. SMU will be in the top 10 because they beat A&M this past weekend.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I just feel like if you want to get to a Final Four, you got to beat Final Four caliber teams.
Yeah, and you've been that way from the beginning. I mean, you and I talked about it when you came here to reload the program, whatever word we want to use. I mean, you scheduled from the beginning, any and all, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it's just a mindset, right? Like you can't just train hard and then expect players to go out and compete against good teams unless you're competing against them, right? And so I just, from day one, I'm like, I want to set the bar high, and if you guys really want to win championships, this is the level we got to play.
There are about 3 big topics I got to get into you because you and I have to catch up. We haven't talked in a while. The first one I want to talk about, though, is really the state of your game and the excitement and the momentum and the national attention that volleyball, so well deserved, is finally getting. That's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it's great. So just, I'm one of the old guys.
Yeah.
I'm one of the OGs, and just seeing the growth of the game. Just quick story is when I first started coaching here in the DFW area, I think there were like 700 total players of all age groups from 18 all the way down, and now we're like over 10,000.
Wow.
And it's still like the number 1 or number 2 most participated sport in high school. I think maybe track or something might be up there, but yeah, it's just great for the sport, and I think we just have the right people in leadership places that are thinking more about growing the sport than just their programs.
You know the thing I love, and you see these volleyball gyms popping up all over, it's former athletes who are back into the sport and giving back and coaching and teaching. To me, that tells me that the culture of volleyball in general, I know about your culture, but it must be pretty good.
Yeah, I think, I hear this over and over again. It's just that we had no idea that volleyball looked like this.
Yeah.
And I can't believe how fast and how high everybody's jumping. And so, I think I tell everybody, we just need to educate the fan in high-level volleyball because it is so fast-paced and it's a little confusing with a lot of the different rules and stuff that we have. But the more you watch it, the more you just fall in love with it.
Speaking of look, we have to talk about the floor. The new Taraflex 4 is unbelievable. I mean, it just pops in that arena, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the floor. It looks great, and all I'm getting from around the country is, thank God we don't have to look at that old floor again.
Come on now.
They did not like it. Well, it's hard on TV because it's really hard to follow the ball on the way the patterns were. So everybody's going to enjoy watching our games.
Yeah, and the investment, though, from TCU standpoint, I mean,
Yeah.
that tells you right now that TCU wants to be good in volleyball.
Yeah, no, it was just great by leadership and the university to
Yeah.
help us get it, and it's just good for the athletes, right? It's good for their health, right? Because a hard basketball court is not made for volleyball, so the pounding on the players takes its toll. So Taraflex helps with that.
And by the way, that's what we do at TCU. We put student athletes' wellness first. I mean, that's important. That goes into that culture that we talked about. That I know you talk about playing with joy. You want your team to do that, to show up every day for practice with a smile and joy on their face. And so far, so good, right?
Yeah, it's great, and this roster is amazing. We've just had zero issues, no conflict. I've always believed that drama is just conflict not dealt with. So we've been doing that over the past 3 or 4 years, but this year we've had zero conflict, and they're just an amazing group. And I always tell them, like, family multiplies the joy and divides the burden, and I think we have a good group for that.
I love that. It helps to have Jalen Gibson back too.
Yeah, it's
coming
great.
off the injury and back for another year, right?
Yeah, she's looking great. She's not 100% in terms of just getting back to her elevating, but she's almost there. So we'll look forward to what she's.
And you can almost go older with her and then younger with Kinsley Young from Southlake, who I know we got high expectations for.
Yeah, she's been killing it in our exhibitions already, and those who come tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yep.
Tomorrow, no, Wednesday. Yeah, today's Monday. Yeah.
Today's Monday.
Yeah,
It'll air later
Wednesday.
in the week,
They'll get to see. She's pretty special.
People ask this question all the time about other sports. You hear about the transfer portal predominantly with football, maybe with basketball, but there's a little bit of that in volleyball. You picked up a couple of important pieces, did you not, in the portal?
Yeah, I mean, when you go down, like I said, the roster's great. You go down the roster and you just hear, a lot of the players I picked up in the portal were just either not happy, in their situation, or maybe playing time was an issue, and they were all top recruits.
Yes.
So having a top recruit with a little experience is just great. So I love like growing and building our players, but our roster right now has got some heavy transfers in there.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Evan either. I mean, here's someone who's been getting some attention early on, some early accolades, and that's always good for the program as well.
Yeah, she's that's another comment that I get from around the country is like, good job with Evan. They're all like, yeah, we just missed that one, and she's just an amazing person, but her ability to just hang in the air gives her an advantage, that she's just really fun to watch, and she's learned how to score points.
Yeah, and you think about the core of this group and the talent that you've been able to put together. When you look at the roster today compared to when you got here, the way that it's improved, not only on the court, but just also in character too, as well. That was important too.
It is. The character's huge. Yeah. Like that's just what I've learned in all my years of coaching is if you just get the right people in, right, you got to have some talent, and you're gonna have to have some rock stars. And former national team coach would say you can have 1.5 knuckleheads on your roster.
I like that. Yeah.
So but they've got to be high performers, right? But beyond that, you got to have just great, athletes, great people, and like I said, I love this roster.
Back-to-back 21 seasons. Now you get the early preseason pick to finish second in the Big 12. Mm-hmm. I think you don't mind that though, do you? I mean, you don't mind that attention.
No, not at all. Not at all. We, I'd rather climb our way through there. Yeah. But it's nice that the coaches have recognized what our roster looks like and the trajectory that the program's in.
You and I have talked about this before. What does it mean to you to be the head volleyball coach at TCU?
Yeah, I think it just, trying to be, and everybody uses the word role model, right? And so for me, coaching a female sport, you're not a role model as a male per sense. Right. But just really being that almost that father figure, and that like, hey, I'm the kind of the anchor of representing TCU and the community, and I'm still learning. I still want to get better at that. But representing TCU and just the athletic program on the volleyball side is amazing to me, because I think volleyball is like the pioneer of the sport, right? We we are the highest level. We don't have the men's side to kind of go off of. We don't have like established pro leagues, right? We have pro leagues now, but they're not established yet. So we're like having to create our journey.
And you've done that by putting together a roster and a schedule that has 10 top 25 opponents on it, right? Here in the preseason for folks to come out and see on a new floor in a great atmosphere at Schollmaier. It has all the makings, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great. And, and I joke with Mark Campbell, I'm like, I had a vision of getting to this point, but I'm like, all I do is just copy what he does.
There you go. Yeah. All right, here's the most important thing. This is what I want to talk about. Because there was an acquisition, maybe in the off season, maybe a little bit longer than that. You have a farm now.
I have a ranch-ish farm, yeah.
Do we call it a ranchette? What are we calling? Are we calling it?
It is a small ranch, right? Yeah. We're trying to grow, but I need to have that as my brand. I changed my Instagram profile to Cattle Baron.
Right, Cattle Baron.
Chicken tender.
Yeah.
I dabble coaching volleyball.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
So we've got cattle.
Cows.
We've got chickens. Mm-hmm. What else?
Well, that's the main. I mean, we got dogs, right?
Of course,
but I'm trying to talk the wife into some other animals.
Yeah.
But again, she's the one. Her and her brother moved down from Wisconsin to be kind of our ranch hand.
So you got a ranch hand?
I got a ranch hand.
Ranch hand,
I know.
Man. I mean,
so horses are in the picture.
Look at this.
Are
you growing anything?
Oh, we have a huge garden.
See, okay, good. You got tomato plants going good?
Oh, she's got everything.
Yeah.
We're trying to be self-sufficient out there, right?
Like
so, I'm like a mini prepper.
Yeah.
Mini survivalist,
Right.
I want to build a bunker.
Without the panic?
Yeah, no panic.
Okay, good.
Have you seen me panic ever?
No, ever. That's what I'm saying. Without the panic, but because I always knew you were a handyman. If anybody needs a screen door fix, they call you.
Yeah.
But now you add rancher, cattle baron, chicken tender.
Yes, that's me.
I dig it, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm fired up about the season.
I am too.
Enjoy it, dude.
Yeah.
Enjoy the run.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The journey's going to be great this year.
And by the way, continue with the joy.
Lots of joy.
Count it all joy.
You got to find joy in everything you do, and I tell them there's going to be hard times out there, but if we can find joy, everything's going to work out.
I like it. Count it all joy. The J-Dub right there. Jason Williams joining us for this edition of Frogs on a Pond. Thanks to our friends at Home Zone for the studio here, for bringing this to us, and our friends at Spectrum. See you next week for another edition of Frogs on a Pond.